How did Batgirl become the Oracle? Is everyone just one bad day away from becoming the Joker? And is Batman a killer? Those questions and more on this week's edition of We Promise Comics. This is JPar.
Hey everybody, it's Lipp.
And this is We Promise Comics.
Woo, comics!
This week we're going to be talking about The Killing Joke. But first off, just want to let everyone know that the intro music is provided by local Sudbury artist Jeff Martel. And hopefully in future episodes we'll have a website for you so you can go check him out and his original music. So now let's talk about Batman, The Killing Joke. So, what about the team that did this? Alan Moore and Brian Boland. What about them? Tell me about them.
Well, just an amazing team, and this is actually just from the comic itself. Alan Moore is perhaps the most acclaimed writer in the graphic story medium, having garnered countless awards for such works as Watchmen, V for Vendetta, From Hell, Miracle Man, and Swamp Thing. He's also a mastermind behind the America's Best Comics line, through which he has created, along with many talented illustrators, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Promethea, Tom Strong, Tomorrow Stories, and Top 10. As one of the media's most important innovators since the early 1980s, Moore has influenced an entire generation of comic creators, and his work continues to inspire an ever-growing audience. Moore resides in central England.
And just a funny thing about Alan Moore, like, you mentioned so many big names from movies. V for Vendetta, Swamp Thing, Watchmen, all turned into movies.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is
with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
The last movie that Sean Connery did, actually, because it was so bad. But, nonetheless, Alan Moore would agree with me, because he is one of those guys who is a purist, and he actually frowns upon most of the creations that Hollywood does for the adaptations of his movies. That's including Watchmen and A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He probably even complained about V for Vendetta. I really enjoyed the adaptation of Watchmen and V for Vendetta, but that's for another time.
Yeah, and Brian Boland's the other mind behind this. So after making his professional debut...
This is the artist, the pencils.
Yes, sorry about that, yeah. So after making his professional debut in 1975, Brian Boland perfected his clean-line style and meticulous attention to detail on a series of popular strips for the British comics magazine 2000 AD. Most notably, its signature feature Judge Dredd. He went on to illustrate the 12-issue maxi series Camelot 3000 and Batman the Killing Joke, which is obviously this one here, before shifting his work to almost exclusively cover illustrations. So since then, he has earned a reputation as one of the best cover artists in the industry, and his elegantly composed and beautifully rendered pieces have graced the host of titles, including Animal Man, Batman, The Flash, The Invisibles, Wonder Woman, and many more.
Excellent.
I really love his work, Brian Boland's work.
He is a great artist, and it's actually some of the more iconic
Joker and Batman costumes?
Yeah, no, just some of the scenes. Like, there's one particular scene in there, and I remember when Batman came out, the one by Tim Burton. And if you should go check out our review if you haven't listened to that already, of the 1989 Tim Burton's Batman. But Tim Burton, not only did he base a lot of his ideas off of this comic, but the material at the time, like T-shirts of like Joker and all that, like they're very, very iconic scenes in this comic. You'll see it in the comic while you're reading. You'll recognize it. Like there's that one particular scene with Joker has his fingers in his hair, and it says ha 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 ha, like all behind him, like that. You saw like so many iconic T-shirts when that Batman movie came out. It was so cool to wear a Batman shirt or a Joker shirt at that time. But it's actually one of the more amazing Batman comics I've read.
Yeah, so it came out in 1988.
Yeah, it's actually. I think it's actually. Yeah, so I believe
year,
it is
1 year before, before Batman.
1 year before the Tim Burton's Batman comes out.
Now, Tim Burton actually says on the front of this deluxe edition of The Killing Joke, I love The Killing Joke. It's my favorite. It's the first comic I ever loved, and I understand why. I didn't even. The first time I read it, I didn't actually know what happened to Barbara Gordon.
Yes.
Are we giving spoilers here?
We can give spoilers. I think
I
people
feel
will
like
read it
I feel like
anyways.
it's a pretty well-known story. Joker escapes from the asylum again, shows up at the Gordon residence, pulls out a gun. Basically, Barbara answers the door and he shoots her in the spine and cripples her.
And for those who don't know, Barbara Gordon is Batgirl, and the daughter of James Gordon, who is the commissioner.
Yeah. So and then throughout, they actually keep that in future comics. She's in a wheelchair. She takes on the new name of Oracle.
Yeah.
And she'll aid Batman, sitting in the Batcave, researching stuff for him, helping him on the fly kind of thing.
Right. Seen a lot in the Arkham video game series.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone knows anything about Batman or Batgirl, they'll know about Barbara Gordon being shot by Joker in this and being crippled.
Yeah. What do you think about the premise of this? I find it so dark. The whole Joker's plot is extremely dark. He's trying to drive Commissioner Gordon crazy and prove that if you can give somebody the worst day of their life, they're only one bad day away from being the Joker.
Right.
So he does this by crippling Barbara, then stripping her naked, taking pictures of her, stripping Commissioner Gordon naked. He's in a cage for a while. It's dark. It is.
Mm-hmm. It's true. This is not like one for a younger audience.
Yeah.
Once again, just like Old Man Logan wasn't for a younger audience, this is another dark one. And I think these are the kind of stories that people like when it comes to comics. It's like, and this is why in the movies we want it to resemble that. We don't want it to be, we don't mind if it's kid friendly, but we still want some of this darkness to come through.
Absolutely, and I feel Batman's dark, and this really is a dark Batman story.
Oh, for sure it is.
And, we talked about the title, The Killing Joke, and the Joker tells... Are we revealing? Are we giving?
Well,
the end
let's
here?
talk. We won't talk about the end just yet. Let's talk about some of the other events in the story because we're not quite there yet.
Okay.
So her becoming Oracle.
What about the Joker origin story?
That's what I wanted to touch upon. Okay. Yes, I wanted to touch upon the Joker origin story
because this is essentially where it comes from.
I said on the Batman movie review that was the only origin I knew of the Joker, but that's not true. It's actually in The Killing Joke, his origin.
Yeah, I guess he's got a wife, Janine, and he ends up becoming the Red Hood for essentially some mobsters, gangsters kind of guy. And the Red Hood is just a figurehead. It's whoever's doing the job, dresses up. And they want the Joker, or what's his name at the time? I can't remember his real name. In
the movie, it was Jack Napier.
Yes, and I believe it is in this as well.
Yeah, okay. But anyways, so it's the Red Hood, and a lot of people might know who the Red Hood character is as well.
Yeah,
and
so he basically takes on this job and ends up near a chemical plant and then falls into a chemical runoff, essentially, that turns him into the Joker.
Yeah, so... It's kind of similar to the origin of how it happens in the movie as well.
Yeah, instead of being, obviously it was more of a fight scene in a chemical plant and he falls into a vat of chemicals instead of a runoff in a lake, essentially, in this. So, you got the Red Hood, he kind of explains how, and like I said, I think this really is the only story I know of that explains his origin, aside from the movie. Now, you said the original was a black and white, right? Like, it was originally done in black and white? The original... This comic? No, I never said that. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I really enjoyed the use of color in this. In all the Joker origin scenes, it's all black and white, but anything that is red is kind of accentuated. It reminds me of like a Sin City kind of
Yeah,
feel.
like a film
Just
noir.
black and white, and the only other color is red. So it's the red hood, the red cape, and then blood, obviously from gunshot wounds or whatever it is.
Yeah, red seems to be the main color aside from the black and white that they're using in the part
The
of
only color, actually.
the Joker origin story part.
So
of it.
I actually enjoyed that. I noticed that when I was younger. It was really well done.
Well, that definitely brings that out. It's easy to tell what's going on in the present compared to what's going on in the past, right?
Yes.
Now, and once again, this is very much like a lot of iconic pictures are taken from this. So I mean, it looks classic Batman, classic Joker.
Giant smile, always wearing the purple suit with the those little what do you call those things at the end of the suit? His suit jacket. He's always got two of them. They hang down little triangles.
Tassels? I don't know.
I don't know. They have a name.
I think the French use them. They call them like frog tails, right?
Yeah, it could be. We promise nothing.
Yeah, we're getting a little off topic here.
I find it's classic Joker costume and
yeah, green hair. It's not like a Heath Ledger look. It's the classic look, and even Batman's costume has the gray color in it. You know what I mean? All right, so I don't want to give away too much about. Here's the thing: it's you have to read it yourself. First of all, a lot of like classic, iconic pictures of Batman. If you like classic Batman, you'll love this story. Obviously controversial with the Joker stripping Barbara and taking those pictures and and torturing Gordon as well. Making and stripping Gordon as well. On top of that,
yeah, I think he's getting poked with like a cattle prod as well. He's got a chain around his neck.
I think the stripping of Barbara is more controversial, and then him hanging up the pictures and torturing Gordon by making him look at the pictures. I think that was more controversial. Yeah. It's something that actually DC got quite a bit of slack for when they did their New 52 campaign, because there's a lot more female fans now, and I guess they're getting tired of. Their favorite characters being sexualized, and so, this kind of thing happens. But anyways, the end, it's kind of for you to decide.
Well, here's my question to you. Is Batman a killer?
Is Batman a killer?
In your eyes.
Well, when you pointed out to me in the Tim Burton movie that he killed many people.
Several.
So, yeah, we know that Batman killed before. So, and now you start questioning that in your mind, because at the very end of this comic, you don't know if he actually killed the Joker or not.
Well, I believe he does. I'll tell you this. In my heart, I grew up as a Batman the Animated Series fan. That was the Batman I knew. That Batman did not kill. Every bad guy fell into a lake. Every bad guy, passed out. He did not die. Batman was not a killer.
But they had certain guidelines they had to follow.
Yes, on TV as well, yeah.
So they already made these rules in the Batman Animated Series saying that there was no killing, no sexuality, like no religious references and all this kind of stuff.
So as a kid, I always thought Batman was not a killer. But these days, I realize Batman does what Batman has to do.
He kind of does. He did start as a killer, though. So he did. He admits. I don't know what story it was. He admits that he killed before. And I think it's when he's talking to Robin. When Robin's trying to catch his parents' killers, he's trying to tell him that it's not worth it. It's like revenge isn't worth seeking after. It just leaves you empty, kind of thing. Don't know what story it's from. Sorry, I can't reference anything. Promise nothing. But yeah, this very leaves it open. Makes you wonder if you think he did kill the Joker. Maybe he didn't. I mean, the Joker shows up. Is this in the main DC continuity? I don't know.
I'll tell you this. And I think Joker maybe is trying to push Batman to that point, right? They've mentioned it several times in the comic. How is this going to end? It's going to end up with me killing you or you killing me, but somebody's going to die. Right? And Batman tries to talk to him and try and convince him it's going to end differently. At the end, the Joker tells a joke, and the joke is the full page. You kind of read over it, go through all the panels, and I think there's laughing, the Joker's laughing, Batman's laughing, and then the last two panels, no more laughing. People think he essentially breaks the Joker's neck. The laughing stops. It's called The Killing Joke. That's the joke that killed the Joker. And
it's not even like a very good joke. It's kind of a lame pun.
Yeah.
Well, I got a few more minutes. I'm just gonna read it. See, there were these two guys in a lunatic asylum, and one night they decide they don't like living in an asylum anymore. They decide they're going to escape. So, they get up onto the roof, and there, just across this narrow gap, they see the rooftops of the town stretching away in the moonlight. stretching away to freedom. Now the first guy, he jumps right across with no problem. But his friends daren't make that leap, you see. You see, he's afraid of falling. So then the first guy has an idea. He says, "Hey, I had my flashlight with me. I'll shine it across the gap between the buildings. You can walk along the beam and join me." But the second guy just shakes his head. He says, "What, do you think I'm crazy? You turn it off when I was halfway across." And then Joker just starts laughing maniacally.
Yes, and then Batman eventually gets in there and starts laughing and then kills him.
I'm
Is my
assuming Batman's laughing because he's actually gone so nuts dealing with Joker's bullshit that he's like, "I'm just gonna fucking kill this guy right now."
Yeah, I think that was the breaking point. Like, he kind of broke Batman a bit there. Like, that's it, done.
And maybe that's why it's very much a classic Batman
So now it's
story.
interesting. He's trying to torture Gordon, and Batman's actually going to stay with Gordon once he rescues him. And Jim says, "No, go. Like, the cops are coming. I'm fine." But he says, "Do it by the books. I want to take him in and do it by the books."
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to, maybe tell Batman, like, don't go down that path. Do it by the books. Do it the right way. And doesn't help.
Right. Well, you'll have to decide for yourself. Give it a read. It's called Batman: The Killing Joke. We're reading the deluxe edition. And it is a very classic Batman story, so check it out.
Alan Moore, Brian Boland, amazing. Alan Moore does amazing work.
All right, tune in. Of course, this is a part of our Batman versus Superman movies and comics review.
Go Batman.
Go Batman. Screw you, Boo, for wearing a Superman shirt on the show last week.
Miles has a Superman hat.
Yeah, and Miles has a Superman hat. And tune in next time on We Promise Comics for Superman Red Sun. All right, talk to y'all later.
Have a good one. This is Lip.
And JPar signing out.